Hello, Alyssa. Welcome. Alyssa, can you hear me? Oh, connecting to audio. Stop. Yeah, it's really.
Hello, David.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
great.
Great.
We'll find out. It's still a little early.
A little early, yeah. I was just trying to make sure I could get it.
Yeah, you and me both.
Oh, I like the beard.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't do you know Robert Redford, right? Do you remember him?
Yeah, yeah.
He did this movie Jeremiah Johnson, like a long time ago.
Mm.
Back probably in the 1970s, maybe. I don't know. Anyhow,
Oh,
he's this mountain man, and he's got this, you know,
mountain beard. I like it. Yeah.
this is a little more, I don't know.
It's more city beard than mountain beard.
Right, I got my 2.76 trimmers that I.
Oh, maybe I should tell my husband. My husband is always trying to like figure out like can get like a big burly beard.
Oh yeah.
And so but he hates doing the maintenance. So
Oh no, that's why, in it. Yeah, there's the maintenance issue, and then with me, I get I don't
bored.
mind this look right now, but in like 3 or 4 days, I'm gonna get bored, and I'll just
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
I like it. It's a good look. It's a good look.
It's, so I think, I think we're in good shape.
I think so. Yeah.
I love that screen. So let me see if I can, if I can pull up that frame.
Yes. And
Oh,
see if
God.
you can share it.
Hold on. Oh gosh. See, I got to figure out how to share the right screen, right?
I know that's always. And this is an
watch-
issue, a perennial issue for me, even at work. I'm like, this is not the right screen. Why does it always go to the wrong one?
Here we go. Here it is, right
There
there.
it is. Yeah, I see it.
Oh dear, it's
Oh no,
happened.
no, there's a rotate thing. You can rotate it. You can rotate it.
You know where? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, right there, right there. Yay! All right, all right, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, this is very cool.
That's cute, right? I just thought.
Yeah, no. I think it's perfect. I like the blue, the blue and the red, and
yeah. So I just whipped that up real quick before this meeting because.
no, I appreciate that, and I'll probably do that, and then kind of quickly, just kind of go through the agenda a little bit.
Great. And, sounds good.
So just remember that that fourth item. So just if I'll hopefully I won't forget it, but.
Yeah, with the wine cellar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, and they just returned that form. So, where did I think I just sent it over to you. Yeah. I looped you in. Yeah, I looped you in. So
let's see if I stop share. And then I guess the question is, how do I, like I say, if I want you to share, then I've got to, what do I have to do for that?
Oh, nothing. I think I can just take it. For example, oh no, the host is disabled participant screen share. And so I lied. I can't. It might be.
How do I enable that? Hold on. Let me just see. Oh, here we go. Multiple. I just clicked it. Now see if you can.
Okay, let me try. Aha, yes. Okay, so let's like, for example, let me try to do it. All right, progress. Can you see my screen?
See?
All right. Okay, we're making some progress here. I can make a presentation mode.
Of evolution.
That's right. See, we're doing much better.
Yeah. All right, move for adjournment.
That's right. But see, it's still showing the wrong screen. I don't want to show the screen. I don't know what you can.
So I'm gonna chat. So we got Gloria Garcia. Hi, Gloria.
Hello, Gloria.
Get Peggy K.
Hi.
And Ken Griffin. And I think Alyssa was the first one on, and it says that she's connecting to audio, and I tried to chat with her, but I don't know.
Let me just move here.
How are you, Gloria?
I'm good. I'm good.
I sorry I missed it.
I'm surrounded.
Oh, look at the puppy.
I'm surrounded by chies. I'm surrounded by. Yeah, because I'm sitting on a heated blanket, especially for them. So they're always on the heated blanket. They're like iguanas.
Oh, maybe I should try that for my dogs.
Oh, they love it. I don't know why, but the chies especially. The other one's kind of roaming around in her own bed. Good girl. What do you have?
Me? Oh, I have a beagle.
Oh, I love beagles.
Yeah, you might see me in the neighborhood. Merlin the beagle.
Yeah, BB's beagle mixed with something else, but she's so food obsessed.
Oh yeah, Merlin will eat. It's like we never fed him.
Yeah, exactly. Every time she gets fed, it's like she hasn't eaten, in years.
Exactly. Like, how are you starving? I literally just fed you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she was just she just ate, and she was begging before I got on this call. Like, come here. Come here, say hi. Say hi. She knows she's on camera. Hey, no kisses, no.
Remember, this is the family channel, Gloria.
I know, and this is my sweet chai.
All right. So we've got 3 minutes of little idle chatter before we've gotta we've got to pay attention, right, George?
Well, it is Mardi Gras.
Is it really?
Already? Oh, man.
Usually I would not be on a meeting tonight.
But alas, we are still stuck in COVID. So no, not too much Mardi Gras fun.
Yeah, we Mardi Gras this weekend though.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of streaming going on from Tipitina's to NOLA TV.
Oh, nice. Hi, George.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
good.
Hi, George.
Gloria, hi.
How are you?
I'm
Hi,
good.
Monica.
Hi, Monica. Hi, Matt. Let's see, who else do we have?
I know,
here?
Matthew.
Hey, everyone.
Here.
Hello. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I see Stan is connecting to audio.
Okay.
Let's see who else. I see Bob Dealing. So we got streets and sidewalks. We got George. We got housing and neighborhoods. I don't remember about Erica. Maybe she's out like bailing water around Hearst Park. But I'm sorry, that was, I've got about 2 minutes to get this bad humor out. So, so
David, I take it we're not reading the reports out loud?
well, it depends. If you can read them in like 180 seconds or less.
I can't print mine out, so you'll have to do without.
So here's the, George, so what we could do is you can just, just whatever the highlights are, 2, 3 bullets, just.
I knew you were going to say that. All right.
Fine,
I'll get it.
we
Son of a gun.
had a meeting. I'm sorry. I've got 60 seconds left of nervous energy, so please bear with me.
All right. I thought we were going to give that up, reading them aloud.
No, we are. It's just if you don't have them in writing, I guess we could screen share. But I think just we'll see. It's
I'm getting it up on the laptop, so I'll have it. You'll be sorry.
So we've still got a few more seconds, but on the bottom right side of your Zoom screen, you got this reactions. You can go like this.
I'm not starting that stuff because I've seen that you often do that and you never take the hand down.
Yeah, but I don't know how to do it. I'm supposed to just disappear. I mean,
Well, there is an option to raise your hand, but then you click it again, you can lower your hands, like quote unquote.
Right.
all right. So guess what? My clock says it's 7 o'clock.
I think we're still
Okay.
waiting on Dippa and do we have everybody? We have Monica.
Maybe
I think. Hold on.
Claudette's here.
Oh yeah, I was like, where's Claudette?
yes.
Oh, there she is. Oh, hi, Claudette. Oh, there's Dippa. Okay.
And there's Dippa.
All right, we have
Dippa.
quorum. Yay, we have
All
quorum.
right. So let's get call this meeting to order.
Yes.
Welcome to the February 16th ANC 3F meeting. So let's call it to order. So let's start with the roll call, and I'll go alphabetically. So Commissioner Appa
Present.
and Commissioner Buechner.
Present.
All right. Commissioner David.
Present.
Commissioner Mehta.
Sorry, present.
Commissioner Nemeth.
Here.
And Commissioner Wall.
Here.
All right. So before we get going, let's talk about a little bit about Zoom. Alexandria came up with what I think is a really cool Zoom screen. So Alexandria, you want to share your screen or you want me to just share the screen? Oh, I guess that's for me. All right. So patience. And so, we've been in this pandemic for a while, and so we thought we'd put something together, just some kind of house rules. So I think one of the most important things, even though it provides some entertainment sometimes, is really keep your audio mic'd, please, during the conversation. The other thing to the right of that, there's a chat section which is in the bottom. And if you click on it, it'll pop up on the right and you can actually ask questions. And so I think that's, not that this is a benefit, but one of the benefits of this doing virtually is you can actually post questions in the chat section. You can talk to people. It can be kind of fun. And if you're like me, a little hyperactive during meetings, it's a good way to get rid of some energy. Right below that, there's an instructions. If you've got a question that comes up or you want to talk to your commissioner, you can send them an email if what you hear tonight's not answered. And then as we did last meeting, for those of you that have been with us for a while, we've had the community forum in the beginning, and now we've flipped it to the beginning so we can take care of business. So we'll try to, questions that aren't on the agenda, we'll try and answer those toward the end of the meeting. So I think that's about it. And I was looking for the raised hand function. So that's the other thing. So if you have to ask a question, you can either do it in the chat session. We'll try to monitor it. I think there is a raise hand feature somewhere. It's either in the chat function or Alex raise your hand. You can see the example.
It's by reactions, at least on my screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you click on the reactions and then the bottom part should say lower. So I'm going to lower my hand now. Boop. There you go.
And I think that's about it. So I'm going to stop sharing and we'll go back to the agenda. So let's approve the meeting agenda. So we've got three consent items. We've got the January 19th last month's meeting minutes that Matt sent to us a little bit ago. We've got the fiscal year 21, the second quarter report. And then we've got something called 3564 Alton Place, which is a curb cut. The next thing on our regular agenda, we've got actually 4 action items. The first one is it's a proposal to create a new committee, schools and universities. The second item is Ward 3 Mutual Aid has a proposal to put a food pantry at UDC. The third item is Burger King, whether to support their waiver of impervious surface on a parking lot. And then there's a fourth item which came to us just over the weekend, which essentially is to approve a business license for internet wine sales. Then after that, we'll go to committee reports. We've got the 3 committee reports. We've got an announcement about a special meeting, the Connecticut Avenue Reversible Lane Study. We're having this meeting on February 24th. It's a Wednesday. It's on our calendar. Just want to talk a little bit more about that. We've got the mayor's FY22 budget. I think Commissioner Nemeth, you may have some remarks about that. And then we've got the Commissioner David, we've got the 4740 Connecticut Avenue Essex House. And then we've got the community forum, and if there's other business, and then that should take us to the end of the meeting. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I have a second.
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 All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any against? Or I guess I should have listened. It sounds like that was unanimous, 7-0. All right, Matt, the first recorded action. Thanks. So let's get on to the regular. Oh, I forgot in mentioning the regular agenda. We've got the treasurer's report. Stan, that's for you?
Yep. Thanks, David. For our very first treasurer's report, my very first treasury report, we carried over a balance of $77,500 from the prior quarter. We received $13,794 in the district allotment, leaving us with a balance at the end of the quarter of $91,306. We were made aware of the fact that we have 2 fraudulent items that have appeared in our account. We have started an investigation with our bank, and once those are resolved, we'll come back to adjust this report as needed. But that's it for the treasurer's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. Commissioner Wall. Any questions from commissioners? Entertain a motion to approve the report.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I second that.
All right, Commissioner Mehta, all in favor, say aye.
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 I think that's all 7 of us, so thanks for that. So next we have, I guess it's the consent agenda, is that correct?
Well, the consent agenda is automatically approved once we approve the agenda itself. So
Oh,
That's-
thanks.
that's-
That's a great shortcut.
that's really the consent agenda. If we approve the agenda, then those items are automatically
Yeah,
dispatched.
I must have missed that page in my Robert's Rules of Order, thanks. All right, onward, thanks. So now let's get to the action items. So first up is essentially this is a, the request is to form a new committee. So I'll give the floor to Commissioner Appa and Beekner, and I know James Tanderick is also with us. So take it away. You have the floor.
Yes, I'm really excited. We, out of the Housing and Neighborhoods Committee, we realized there was a need for a potential need for a Schools and Universities Committee. And so our goal is to really, we have a range of schools in this area from preschool all the way to university to postgraduate schools. So we wanted to form this committee to make sure that we're addressing the needs of, our community, as well as making sure we have clear liaisons with the various schools in our neighborhood. I believe that James Tandick is going to be the chair of the committee. And so I don't know if Matt has anything else he wanted to add, but I think this is going to be really great. We are looking for volunteers or for additional committee members, especially parents who want to join the committee. So if you are interested, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'll make sure to drop my my email address as well as Matt's email address in the chat. Matt or James, anything you want to add to that before we move to motion?
You covered it perfectly on my from my perspective. I've just been taking notes, but yes, please feel free to reach out if you are interested in serving on the committee. And James, do you have anything?
No, I think I said it perfectly. I think often like the purpose of the committee is to not only form a relationship with all the ANC 3F institutions within ANC 3F, but also be a liaison for them and an advocate for them. And so that's the purpose of the committee.
Great.
So I guess
Thank you.
before we take a motion, are there any questions? I think I saw, I don't know, Gloria Garcia from Venice Main Street. I don't know if you had a question about this, but anybody in the audience have a question about this before we take a motion, entertain a motion?
I see Juanita Gray from UDC seems to have her hand raised.
Ms. Gray, you have a question or you like to ask about this?
Thank you, Commissioner. I do have a quick question. Would the expectation be that the liaison for each school campus also be a part of the committee, or just that you all know who the representative is and has contact with them regularly?
I mean, I guess
Yeah. I think it's more of like the latter. Obviously that we would love in the committee to have a liaison from each of the schools, but of course, like we're not like requiring it. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely love to have like liaison from UDC, whether that's you or someone else, just be able to attend the meetings and also just be like a conduit of like issues in UDC and with the community, and like kind of how can we like support UDC.
Was attend the meeting outside of the regularly scheduled monthly meeting.
Yeah. So like it's like with the other standing committees, like we have like our own time in place for it.
Okay.
And if I may add an editorial comment, I think it's, again, like these committees, I mean, there aren't a lot of boundaries on them except, eventually we get to appoint the chair, but it's really, again, it's really based on the energy. And so at least from our perspective, I think this was part of the reason we thought we'd do this, is that there are a lot of educational institutions in the community, from preschool all the way up to, UDC and Howard University and everything in between, and public and private and nonprofit. So this is if there's a lot of interest in this committee, that's great. And if it becomes, you know, over time, 20, 30 people, I think we'll figure it out. But in terms of, you know, who's in and who's out, we're, you know, it's still in formation now. But thanks for your question, Ms. Gray. We'd love to have you.
Right. I don't think it's a bad idea. I just worry of additional meetings for people who regularly already attend the meetings and give updates on their institutions. It's an added meeting. So that's my only concern.
And the thing too is that like it doesn't have to be you. Like it can be like a student of UDC as well. You know, like there's no like it doesn't requirement it has to be like a like leadership role. Like it can be like a parent, it can be a student, like it can be anyone. But it's just like we would, you know, and also part of our first time to be able to contact you as well in UDC and see like not only how can we support you, but also if there's someone there as a type of liaison, like to be able to come to the meetings. If not, like that's okay. Like there's no pressure, but it's a way to sort of reach out to you all and be able to help you guys in whatever you need support with.
Understood. Thank you.
I see a question to my left is Gloria Garcia from Venice Main Street. Gloria, you got the floor.
Yeah, I just following up on what Juanita said, you know, I want to remind everyone, there's also the UDC Neighborhood Advisory Committee, which is, you know, sort of was created with only UDC in mind, but I think would have the same type of goals. So I think it would be very interesting, and it just for clarity, and so we're not, you know, doubling efforts to really set the goals for this one, and maybe, you know, and make sure that we don't touch on the same things. I mean, I think the Neighborhood Advisory Committee that UDC has is very valuable because we're talking about very probably different things, not so much the student issues. And Juanita, you can talk to me, but really, you know, the master plan as well as, you know, the retail on Connecticut Avenue. So it just, and I do want to throw in that I don't know if anybody saw the New York Times on the Whittle School founder last Sunday that, you know, I'm trying to find out information on Whittle right now because the founder is in deep economic distress. So I'm not sure about Whittle.
All right, any more questions? All right, I think we're ready for a motion.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the proposed committee.
Any a second for somebody?
I'll second.
Thanks, Commissioner Wall. We got a second. We got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right, it's unanimous. Thanks, Commissioner Appa and Buechner and James. So we've got some work to do, and we'll look forward to some good things coming out of this committee, and not, you know, again, I think as the point's made, trying not to duplicate other efforts that are already going on and that are going on quite well. All right, the next item is it's the Ward 3 Mutual Aid has a proposal to put in a food pantry at the UDC campus. That's also, Commissioner Appa, you want to describe what's going on? And I think you've got, somebody, I see Judith from Mutual Aid is here, so take it away.
Yes, great. Sorry, my computer crashed and I missed a little bit of the conversation, but for Ward 3 Mutual Aid, UDC and the DC Fridge Collective have been, you know, especially Ward 3 Mutual Aid has really been working over the past several months since the pandemic started to make sure that, you know, our friends and neighbors have been able to have access to healthy food in this neighborhood and also beyond. But specifically for this neighborhood, DC Fridge Collective, as well as Ward 3 Mutual Aid, want to open a food pantry that's accessible to the public, to those who are in need, and in partnership with UDC. Hopefully, they're still working out all the final details, but we'll have it somewhere accessible to the general public. And so I'm really excited about this partnership. I think it's something that is can be needed, is definitely needed in this community, so that you know, folks who are struggling with food insecurity are able to get access to the food that they need. I did want to give Judith a quick couple seconds or 30 seconds to sort of chat a little bit about this, and then we can move forward to questions.
I would just like to thank the ANC and Venice Main Street UDC very much for helping us get this proposal off the ground. We've been working on it for several months, actually. Currently, we are helping distribute food out of St. Paul's, but we found that it's just not reaching a lot of our neighbors up and down the Connecticut Avenue corridor. So we really appreciate the neighborhood support, and we'll welcome your help once we get this up and running. Thanks again.
Thank you, Judith. Any questions?
Judith, I have a question. Thank you, first of all, for coming to our meeting and for working to get this up and running. Just for my background, how does the fridge get? Is it a fridge? Is it bigger than that? And how does it get replenished? And how are you planning to get the word out to people?
Well, at this point, UDC has opted for a food distribution. So we will not, at least in the beginning, have a fridge that would be open 24/7 as we have in other areas in the city, other neighborhoods. We would hope ultimately to get there, but what we have so far is a food distribution point. We already have about, Elise is on the phone on the call as well. We have about 400 or 500 households that are in contact with Ward 3 Mutual Aid for various kinds of help. Most of our aid right now is in the form of grocery deliveries, and deliveries of prescriptions, household cleaners, other necessities. Some people are housebound, some people are just unable to afford basic goods. So we already have a pretty decent network so that we know where the need is, but we'll be leafleting, we'll be using social media. I believe that Commissioner Appa is also willing to help us get the word out in some of the bigger buildings.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Any other questions?
Hi, Commissioner, it's Juanita. Sorry, I'll turn on my camera. I don't have a question, but I did want to make the comment that the university is very happy to work with Ward 3 Mutual Aid. I've been in contact with Judith, and we are currently working on an MOU on our side. The biggest thing, and I don't know if Judith wants to speak of it, is that the university does require insurance for any organization or group that's utilizing our spaces. And I believe that might have been an issue unless Judith has figured that out. So I just wanted to bring that up, that was one of the bigger things that could potentially hamper the moving forward.
Yeah, it's the biggest challenge at this point. The university has asked us to have proof of insurance. And Ward 3 Mutual Aid is a group of volunteers. We're not a company, we're not a business, we're not even an NGO. So I've been speaking with people at UDC to figure out how we can handle this. There's the monetary side and there's the liability side. We are sure that we can work this out, but it's not yet clear quite how. We're just going to keep pushing ahead. Thanks, Juanita.
Thank you.
Juanita, is there any circumstance under which UDC would add Ward 3 Mutual Aid as an additional insured on an existing policy?
That is a huge question that I cannot answer. I can bring it to our COO and to the president. That is not something that we normally do, particularly for outside groups that are wanting to use our spaces. It's mostly for the liability purposes. The way that the program is set up, we would essentially give keys to Judith and her team, and they would go in on a day and times that they needed to use the space, to package up everything and then to distribute on the days and times that they're distributing. University staff would not necessarily be there a part of that, So because they're going to be utilizing our spaces in times and days that there's no university presence, the liability issue is the biggest thing.
My understanding is that UDC has a risk manager, and Vice President Garrett has volunteered to speak with that official about what our options would be. It's a little unclear right now. We haven't seen the MOU, so we aren't even sure how much insurance we would need.
And I guess if and I don't know, another, that's one path. I don't know if another path is some, comparable nonprofit that would, they would have their insurance and all that. It's, if there's somebody out there that may, kind of take you under their wing, so to speak.
Yeah, once we have particulars, we'll be able to go to our partners. There are some congregations in the area that have worked with us on other projects. But we will need more details about what we're asking for. Another issue is that the university is asking us to sign a month-to-month agreement, and I'm not really sure how insurance works month-to-month. So there are a number of details that need to be worked out, but the will is here. We really appreciate the work that people have put in so far, and we will get this done. It's a very urgent need. So we're hoping that we can get it going next month.
Will there be any support that you'll need from the general community to help it run?
Well, we'll be having some drives. The first drive that we anticipate would be a household cleaner drive. It's one of the most expensive things on our grocery shopping lists. So it'd be tremendously helpful if we could collect some of that from our neighbors. We will also have volunteers helping at the site. So it'll be a combination of things. And, we already very gladly accept contributions toward our work.
How will we be promoting? How will we be promoting like volunteer recruitment?
Well, we're on several listservs, and I think Marlene Berlin is on the call. Forest Hills Connection. We have a number of outlets. We have, Ward 3 Mutual Aid. I got involved when I saw a leaflet on a lamppost somewhere. So we have all different ways of reaching our neighbors. We've also been leafleting buildings about the pantry that's at St. Paul's. Our volunteers deliver every other week to anybody who can't reach that pantry. So every other week we're delivering between 50 and 60 boxes from the Capital Area Food Bank.
Okay, any more questions, or are we ready for a motion on this item? I think we're ready. Hearing not, I think we're ready for a motion. So I think this is coming from you, Commissioner Appa.
Yes, call to motion for the resolution.
Yeah,
How many do we have? Do I have a second? Or first, I guess I should say.
Second.
Second by Commissioner David. I think no more discussion. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
I don't think anybody's opposed, so I guess thanks for that. And yeah, again, thanks Judith to Ward 3 Mutual Aid, and thanks to UDC, and thanks to Venice Main Street for helping us out. Again, I think there's some matters to work out, but you've got our support, and we'll we'll wish you well. And again, if there's ways we can publicize your efforts to get volunteers and so on, we're happy to do that. So let us know.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. So next, moving on to the Burger King item, Commissioner Nemeth, I'll turn this over to you and take us away.
Thank you. And I'm scrolling through our list of participants. Mark James, are you here? I don't see Mark. I don't see. No, I did send him the connection information. He has the agenda. He knows it's tonight. And he said he would be here. So we do not have anyone from Burger King, it sounds like, for Potomac Foods.
I see a hand raise with Ken Griffith. I don't know if that he has
Yes.
questions. Yeah.
I work for Mark James.
Oh,
Do you hear
okay.
me?
Yes, hi, Ken.
And I think Claire is on there too, and she's the one who was going to present or talk.
I'm here as
Claire,
well.
Okay, thank you.
Claire, are you on?
I am. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
You can hear me. Okay. I'm sorry that Mark's not here. He actually emailed me on Sunday and I thought he would certainly be here, but I haven't spoken with him today. So we're sorry about that.
That's quite all right. I didn't know who else would necessarily be. I was looking for Mark's name, and so thank you for identifying.
He's usually very, very loyal to this project. So I don't know, something must have happened. We just wanted to revisit our interest in gaining some understanding and possibly support from the ANC for the proposal that we made previously. Ken's work was to show that it was very difficult, if not impossible, to create the permeable, is that right, Ken?
Yeah, the pervious paving
The
project
pervious
would
paving, right.
be almost futile to try to do the infiltration.
Exactly.
point,
So we
yes.
have proposed to add additional green area to help absorb some of the water that is going to inevitably come off of that parking area, and hoping that we can gain some support from the ANC, because we need to address this spring. Actually, I think in March is our timeline for addressing this issue in order to meet the special exception condition. So what our hope was, we were in touch with DCRA DOEE and understood that there might be a chance that they would be speaking with someone at the ANC between January and February.
You know, I've seen some emails, but I haven't been able to get a hold of anyone on the phone. I mean, I've seen the email traffic between you all, but they never reached out to me and I couldn't get a hold of them. But, you know, in looking over the report and looking over stuff, I mean, certainly I see that, and I think probably my fellow commissioners would agree that, okay, that the permeable as the requirement stands is probably not feasible. We get that. So we want to discuss then what are the alternatives and what exactly can we be doing here? We saw your plan for the landscaping and as an alternative, and so we would have questions about that. Are there other things that can be done for water retention? Underground cisterns or things like that?
We have not investigated anything like that. Again, our problem really is outfall. We talked about it a little bit last time. And I think it's well known in this area of Connecticut Avenue that there is no storm outfall pipe or anything to connect to. So anything we put underground, it has to drain. We have nowhere to dump a pipe out. So I mean, the closest pipe, I can't remember the name of the road right this second. I don't have my map out, but it's easily, 300-400 feet away down to the next road. And you would have to tear up pretty much Connecticut Avenue or the alleyway all the way down to do that connection under drainers. So that in itself seemed like it was reason enough to come up with the alternatives. And really what Mark is trying to do is to kind of beautify the lot a bit. He's going to repave it, reshape it, and create those green spaces. He still maintains the decent lot back there. I think it's 16 spaces. And he's going to put gates on it now so that it can be used more so for the customers of his store, rather than a lot of people were just going in there and parking and everything. So it's really to help, the betterment of the lot. We don't really have a good idea to do any kind of storm sewer because we can't dump the pipes out of it.
And do we have a sense of, I mean, if if it's not really draining properly, or if you can't really, if you're not getting good infiltration there, so we're gonna have this landscaping, and so you're gonna have a grassy area with some plants that are gonna absorb the water, but realistically, how much could that retain, and how is that going to, how well do you?
Yeah, it probably isn't intended to soak up a ton of water. It's going to beautify the area, and it is going to help environmentally because it's a grass area instead of an asphalt area. So obviously it's going to take some water, and the plants themselves take some water, but it's not, it's not permeating into the earth because the earth just won't take it over there very well. If you read that report, I think you got a copy on page 5. That talks about the inches per hour.
Yeah.
And I have, as an example, I have another site I'm working on right now out in Loudoun County area, and it has 2 inches per hour. This has 0.0 something, and it's just horrible. So, and you have that every time sometimes you get that. And I talked to some other geotechs around there, and they said that area of DC is like that. So, we really tried hard to make that happen. It just doesn't work. It'd be good money after bad. It just wouldn't. And then again, the other problem is it won't drain. So if you can't get infiltration, you could put in permeable paving. Then you do under drains and you tie them into your storm system. So right now there's no storm system, so we can't do either method. Theoretically, can't do it. So right now all we have to offer is the greening up of that space back there.
Okay, I see Commissioner Wall has his hand raised, so I'm going to turn it over to him for some questions.
Thanks, Commissioner Nemeth. Hearing this, I am curious to know if we did have soil below the parking lot that was permeable, how much stormwater would that then divert? And given the challenges of connecting to an outfall from the parking lot, are there other places, as you look across the Soapstone Valley watershed, where offsite mitigation could be done just to help reduce the amount of runoff that's going into Soapstone Valley? Even if it's not going to be from your parking lot, is there somewhere else, within the watershed, just to help us begin to put a dent into runoff going into the watershed?
Yeah, actually, I don't know the answer to that on that watershed. I would have to do an analysis of that. It would take quite a while. I don't know. I really don't know the answer to your question there. And as far as if it was a permeable lot, you have to calculate how much volume it would take. So if it was 1 inch per hour over, half an acre, you calculate up the quantity and see what it is and how much it takes. I don't know those numbers. Didn't have to do.
Is that something you could reach out to DDOE to speak with them to find out what other options might be within our watershed? Again, because the ultimate goal is trying to reduce runoff from everywhere. Because if you were around last summer in July, we had a fairly severe storm that pretty much tore apart the Soapstone Creek Valley all the way down to Beach Drive. So the idea is that if we chip away at these types of parking lots, bit by bit, over time, we begin to reduce the impact of that kind of runoff. So if there's somewhere else that we could find within the watershed, and I'm guessing DOE might have some ideas, it'd be great to explore if that's a place where you might do offsite mitigation to make up for the challenges in the parking lot.
Yeah, I'll have to get with Mark James on that, the owner, and see how he wants to proceed. I really couldn't speak for him. So you're looking for like a trade-off. So if we were going to put X amount of water into the ground, you would want to trade off into some other space in that drainage chain.
Correct, just to help us, again, reduce our overall runoff in our watershed. If it can't happen on the Burger King lot, can we find someplace else where it can happen?
Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, right now the deal of that, I wouldn't know how that would be worked out, but I'll get with Mark and think of something. Come up with some idea.
Okay.
If there's any.
Mr. Griffin, this is Commissioner Maida. To just sort of put a finer point on what Commissioner Wall is referring to is that if we back up, my understanding, even though I wasn't present, I've done some background reading on this, is that back a few years ago, a commitment was made by Burger King to install this permeable pavement in order to mitigate the effects of stormwater runoff. And if now the answer is 3 years later that that commitment can't be kept, and that scientific evidence backs that up, as you've shared with Commissioner Nemeth, and you know, we all accept that that's the case, then what we're really asking to be clear is that you and your colleagues come forward with an alternative that achieves the same goal. And it doesn't have to be necessarily in that location, but something that achieves the same goal. And if what you're suggesting is that some green area in the lot is the answer, then so be it. But we would also need to understand exactly how much square footage, what those plantings are, what the maintenance plan is to keep those plantings up, and some kind of the scientific evidence you used to show us that permeable pavement wouldn't work. We're really asking is that you bring the same sort of scientific analysis to bear on an alternative that would achieve the underlying purpose of this commitment that, you know, that Burger King made 3 years ago.
I understand the concept. There will never be an equality in the green space versus the permeability thing. It was just an alternative we proposed, you know, in our little space there in our parking lot. The idea of going off site and doing an equal type of situation somewhere else, we haven't even explored that. But I understand it.
I think we've got one question from Gloria Garcia. You got your hand raised. Oh. Any other commission questions or questions from the community?
I do have a quick question in terms of, you know, I understand the green space, like, is there a maintenance plan already proposed?
No, there would be. I mean, if we were to do that, landscape areas, we would put that in the site plan and go through the proper channels to submit that through the, you know, the city and have it reviewed and have the maintenance plan and everything. We just haven't done that yet because we haven't gotten this concept from anyone. But yeah, I agree. There would be a nice landscape plan done showing which plants, you know, all those things where they're planted, and then a maintenance plan to keep them thriving throughout.
Mr. Griffin, how many square feet of green space are you proposing?
Well, I knew someone was going to ask that. Let me see. It's on that little diagram. From memory, I believe it's a little over 1,500 square feet in that parking lot. And there's already some up on the hill behind it, but the area that we propose in green was area that was asphalt that we were going to cut out of there and put back, you know, some soil and some plants. Yeah, I'm looking at it real quick. It's a little over 1,500 square feet, I believe.
Thank you.
It's not a ton of area, I agree, but it's a tight little space, and it's pretty economical how we've laid the thing out. Now, if you've ever been back there, it's like on a weird angle, and there's a lot of wasted space. We just kind of parallel it up to the alley. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky little lot, and it is actually hard to negotiate. And frankly, I'm not sure I've ever seen. I'm there quite a bit actually, and I don't actually think I've really seen patrons of Burger King use that accessory lot. What I see,
that's true. And one of Mark's goals was to gate it off. You know, we'd have like gates that you see on a little sketch there. There's a one-way in and one-way out now on the sketch, and he would, you know, do all that, repave it and plant the plants. And then you would, if you were a patron, you'd park in there and you'd walk in and get your food, and you'd get a token to come out and, you know, free to you.
That will annoy the car wash attendants.
Yeah, it will. I think it will. Because they use it for drying cars. I've been there when they pull out, they pull in there and they dry off.
Yeah, that seems to be, I would almost say that's almost a primary use of that accessory lot. Because
it's not the goal of Mark to irritate neighbors. It's just to try to use the lot for his, you know, he owns the lot, it's for his use.
No, I totally understand that. I appreciate that.
sorry, so I'm sorry, the gating part, there are already some pretty significant traffic flow issues back there. So gating different parts of that has that been, it will presumably it will direct traffic in one direction. This may be
That's
off
right.
topic, so I don't want to waste time on this tonight, but I assume that you're taking this up with DDOT in terms of directing traffic, because
Well, it's on this private lot. It's not on the alley. So when we submit the site plan, they would have the review of that. But you would come down the alley and pull in the little entrance we designed that's near to the car wash, and you go in there. It's like a car length in, and then you have a gate, right? Just like anywhere, and then it would open. You come in, and then you go out. You go out the other side. So it is one way. I mean,
and people could take a right or a left, right?
well, when you come in, there's only like a couple of spaces ahead of you to the right. You'd be coming and moving more left. Do you have you seen the sketch, anyone? I know Monica has.
Yeah, I mean, I can,
I have the sketch. I don't know how to share my screen.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we have the sketch. I guess the question is, and it's, so the sketch is the sketch is a start. I think this conversation is a start. I'm just not sure, at least based on the questions that I'm hearing and the responses, I'm just not sure if this is, is this really ready for us right now tonight?
Yeah, David, I would also second that. I think there's still a lot more information that needs to be considered and brought back to, this group of folks, like the commissioners. I was just curious in terms of a timeline. I know you guys have had several years to do this, but what's the timeline to go back and bring us additional information so we can actually move forward?
Well, I want to jump in a little bit. So, yeah, this idea, we wanted to get approval of this idea so that then Mark would, I'm not sure what happens after early March when the BZA timeline is up. Claire may know. But this little sketch here, if we had a nod, then we would engineer this and get a site plan, which is, we have it halfway done or 3/4 of the way done, would do the re-engineering of this, put the planning plan in there and submit that plan to the city. We haven't submitted the plan because we didn't want to waste Mark's time and money if you all were not going to approve this concept.
so,
I think I'm hearing, I'll just say what I'm hearing, and we can, for other commissioners as well. Commissioner Newth, go ahead. Why don't you?
so just to make it clear, so what would happen is Mark would have to, if we approve the request, Mark would have to go back to BZA ultimately to request to have the requirement removed. He'd have to have a separate hearing, but we would just be supporting that request is all our resolution would essentially be doing in terms of the process.
I don't know if my fellow commissioners, anybody else wants to chime in. I'm just not sure. There's.
I will chime.
Go ahead,
Commissioner Castillo. I can't today offer support for removing this requirement until we see detailed alternatives that we've talked about, until we see some of the data that Commissioner Mehta mentioned, to enable us to understand and be confident that we've exhausted all other ideas, again, to the benefit of the community, to mitigate runoff going into Soapstone Creek. And we haven't yet seen that. We've heard that you can't do permeable pavement. We've heard that you want to do planted areas, which are planted areas on top of compacted impervious pavement for soil. So yes, it'll be a nicer looking lot with the planted areas, but it's not a lot that will really make a dent with regard to stormwater retention and mitigating runoff. So I can't support removing that requirement until we've had a chance to see that other information.
Stan, I also would agree with you. I don't know that we have exhausted all of the information to make a positive decision for the community.
Okay, well, the only thing I can see that may have some legs would be to see if there's a way to, I don't know, offer some sort of improvement in another part of the drainage shed, then if that would be a trade-off for everyone that they would like. But I don't know anything about the other parts of the drainage shed. I'll have to talk with the city.
But I think, from a process perspective, there's a draft motion that hasn't been made yet, but it sounds like there's concerns that we're not even ready for that. And so there's either we can stop this conversation right now, or we can put what the motion is to a vote, and we can vote based on whether or not we think there's enough information to mitigate what they're asking for.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of concerns from commissioners, and I share their concerns. And so while I've put together this draft resolution, which I had certainly sent around to all the commissioners, and so we've kind of exchanged emails and messages on it, which is where we have this basis for this discussion, and I shared them, shared the concerns. I think that there is enough concern that we want more information. I think I don't think we're ready to take a vote here, because I don't think we're ready.
May I offer one more thing? Would it be possible to make a motion to support extending his time then? Because the BZA timeline was, I think, March 12th or 7th or something. Claire, do you know?
I think it's the 7th, but I would have to check my notes.
Yeah, so I don't know what happens if we come up to March 7th, because obviously we won't have it constructed by March 7th. We don't have the plan submitted. So is that a consideration?
I'm not sure what happens in a case where that timeline, is met. I mean, I'm not sure if BZA would actually have any sort of enforcement on that at that stage, other than
I'm sorry, Mr. Griffin. This is Commissioner Maida. Can you explain what that March 7th? It sounds like there's some kind of deadline. What is exactly what happened?
Well, I'm not the expert either, because I wasn't here when all that was done. But the BZA had an agreement. There it is right there. That summary order was done a while back, and it's been extended over the years to let him keep using the lot in the back for this purpose, the store. And then the time was coming up, and he had to extend it again. And then the last one, I think they extended it in exchange for him doing the permeable paving. And then that deadline is now upon us, and it's not done.
Right, it's number 12 at the bottom there. You can see, whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were a set of conditions that were added in the last one.
If you roll down a little bit.
Approved, and number 12 in that set of conditions happened to be the pervious paving.
I see. So the right to continue using that accessory parking lot as it's being used today expires on March 7th, because condition number 12 won't have been met by then. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Okay.
I think that's the
what happens
case.
is that they have to go and have an extension regardless. Is that what happens in a case like this? Or
I'm gonna say that is necessary. I don't know for sure. I wasn't the guy who drafted this up, but
well,
I'll
the
be on
approval
the
shall be for a period. The approval shall be for a period of 9 years. But they have the
roll down on the signature.
The requirement is to have this done within 3 years. So the approval itself for the accessory parking lot is a 9-year approval. However, they have 3 years to get this paving done, and that's the deadline that's coming up.
So the date it was signed, which remember what it is here.
It was March 7th, so that's, and realistically, to get an extension, you would have to have a hearing, and we're already, I mean, you wouldn't even get a hearing before March 7th with BZA at this point. I mean, it's already February 16th.
I think,
As a practical matter, I'm not sure a motion to extend would even have any practical effect.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any more questions, but I think, again, what I'm hearing is that we don't have support for a motion. And I don't know if you want to take that to the BZA and say, look, we're working on an alternative to this order, and that's what we need to do. I just don't think, we don't have enough information right now to support, that waiver. And I don't think there's any other way to put it.
Commissioner Castillo?
I think we have a question from Mr. Mac Smith.
Yeah, and I think it might actually be helpful. One thing from COVID that might be helpful. I believe the BZA has there's an administrative waiver thing in place right now where you're allowed to extend expiring orders for either 6 months or a year simply by applying. So I think there is a way to kind of get what it seems like people are talking about now without having to actually take any action as an ANC. I have no idea what if that's just automatically approved or not, but I just wanted to make sure people were aware of that.
That is good. Thank you. And we'll use that time if we can get it to study this alternative.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. I appreciate that. So I guess that sounds like that's our plan. Is that we have consensus on that amongst us? And
Yes, I mean, I think so. Well, and really, I think what I would say is, Mr. Griffin, you heard our concerns. I think you have an understanding of the kinds of alternatives you want to hear about and the details that we seek. And so come next month with those details, or if you need
we'll have some details
together, then come in April. But we understand permeable can't be done.
I wanted one more detail. Mr. Wall had asked the question about the quantity of what water would permeate into the ground. I mean, I can come back with some typical numbers on that, but it has to be based on what is your reading in the ground, and our reading was like 0. So I'll just make an assumption like what a normal site might be and say X amount of gallons of water would be permeate over time. And then
correct. So yeah, based on the square footage of this paved parking lot, if you were to remove pavement elsewhere, in the watershed, and that other location has better soils that allow for permeation, where would that be? And again, like the other point I would raise is, if this 6 months holds true, please do come back in a month or two, but not in 6 months, because then we'll be right back here trying to sort this out at the last minute.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll find a similar square footage area that could be maybe substituted somehow for this, some kind of trade-off, if there is one. We have to talk to the city.
Yeah, and I think that kind of to pile on a little bit, I mean, yeah, you need to, this has been going on for a while, and so I think you need to reach out to us and talk to DDOE, and we've got some, there's people in the community here that are interested in helping out. I mean, it's we want to be supportive of small businesses, but I think we also, as Commissioner Wall and others have pointed out, we've got water problems, and we've got to deal with them when situations like this arise. And so we've got to do a better job than we've done in the past. We want to work with you on that.
Yeah. And I mean, if you ever have the opportunity to talk to the city, if they could run some storm sewer up into this area, down the road on Connecticut, and run some major pipes up there. Someone mentioned it last time. I don't know who you would talk to or how you would get that done, but eventually it may need done if you have stormwater.
And that might be something, David, that we can talk to DDOT about once, they've got the Connecticut Avenue study going. At some point, there's going to be some construction being done to Connecticut Avenue, potentially with the reconfiguration. So that might be an opportunity if they're going to be they do eventually do bike lanes and things like that, okay, if they start digging stuff up, that might be an opportunity. Okay.
Sure, it's possible. It's just, knowing the Connecticut Avenue study, that construction process is a ways out. And so, this is more of, at least in the short term, we've got to figure something out. Like Commissioner Wall said, we've got to get a plan together, in a matter of weeks, not months, to try.
I agree. I agree. But at least for long term, we can think about talking to DDOT and saying, hey, when you do eventually start doing the construction for whatever it is they're going to do with Connecticut Avenue, stormwater.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, community. Thanks, commissioners. And so we've got one more action item, and I think this is Commissioner Appa. I think this is you need to share I need to give you to share the screen, or you can do that.
I think I could. Is this for the wine cellar?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, great. Yes, let me see if I can share my screen. Let's see. Give me 1 second while I pull this up quickly. Oh, sorry, it's not letting me share all of a sudden.
That's okay. Remember we talked, it's one of the rules.
I know.
We talked about patience.
Exactly. Yeah, give me
We're all going to be
one.
more patient with each other. Right, George?
Yes.
Even me.
Okay, where? Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. It's not letting me share for some reason, but that's okay. I think I can speak to it. So I think we have I think Stephanie might be on the line. We do have a request for ABRA to allow them to have a liquor license. It's an underground wine cellar. I think this is pretty straightforward in terms of a general motion to make sure that we can approve this, and so we can move forward in order for them to continue selling wine to the lovely folks online. So I don't know, do we have Stephanie on the line?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, I can hear you, Stephanie.
Hi, awesome. Thank you guys so much for letting us be here. You summarized it pretty well. So we're Rose Creek Wine. We're new local online retailer servicing all of the DMV. So we're only online. We don't have a physical storefront. You may be wondering, then why are we talking about this specific neighborhood here? And the reason why we're here with the ANC 3F is our storage facility is on Connecticut Avenue. So it's at Domain Storage, very well established in the DC area. And we will just be storing our product there. We won't have, there's no customers coming in or anything like that. Really no impact to the neighborhood other than just our wine will be stored there. We formed our LLC last August. And then we've been working with ABRA on getting licensed for the past 6 months. We are finally on the home stretch. So we are receiving our placards on February 19th. My business partner, Octavia, should be on this call. She can confirm that, I think. Pretty sure it's 19th.
Yes, I see her.
Mm-hmm. And then this month, we're just hoping that with a letter of support from ANC 3F, we'll be able to finally start selling with our stipulated license. So we've gone through all of the hoops with ABRA. We've been background checked up and down. We're ready to go, and now we're just hoping for just the letter of support so that we can start selling with the stipulated license, which has been approved already. We just need this one last piece.
Great. And I thank you so much, Stephanie. I see Monica, you have a quick question.
Yeah, so thank you. So just to be clear, so you've requested a Class A internet only stipulated license, is that correct?
Yes, so we have two things. So we're going to be fully like a internet retailer only Class A license. And then we've also separately filed for the stipulated license so that once we get our placards on the 19th, that we're able to sell in that interim 45-day period.
Great. And that was going to be my next one. I guess, see, wonderful. Thank you, Alex, for pulling that up. I was going to say, did you do a settlement agreement? And I see that, yes, you did, because I see it on screen right now. So perfect. because that was the other thing that we just needed a settlement agreement. So
Yes, I think the settlement agreement is ready to go as well. We do have the letter that will be signed by Commissioner Castile. So those two things are ready to go. He has that in his inbox, and so should be a pretty straightforward process.
so I'd be willing to say, as long as we have the settlement agreement, an executed settlement agreement, that, yeah,
We can move forward.
we can move forward is what I would say.
I think there's at least, I think there's another question and then question of commissioners, and then I have a question kind of at the end. Gloria, do you have a question still?
And just as a reminder for folks who have their hands up, you have to click to make it come down again on the reaction
Oh.
section. Yeah, so
Was that an old hand?
I think it might have been, yes, an old hand. Any other questions from the community?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Commissioner Castile, your question.
And there's no questions from commissioners I can't see, so we can just see the four of us.
I don't think so.
So I guess the question I have to you is, I went back there and I know where the door is in the alley, and then it goes down the stairs, and you don't have to answer this, but how many distributors are down there?
I actually have no idea. There are a lot of people who store wine personally down there, is what I know.
Yeah.
There's,
Yeah.
I know that I can think of at least 5. I mean, I think I've done, like 6 or 7, because I think I did 3 or 4 in the past term, just settlement agreements.
Yeah, there's also Saki. Remember, there's a Saki distributor.
There's Saki, there was, we did several wine distributors, and we also did Saki last year. We did.
And another winery from Virginia is there.
Great. So everyone knows that in the zombie apocalypse, go below and we'll be okay for wine as well as sake. So we will all survive.
Great.
And if we don't survive, at least we can get drunk and be happy.
Exactly.
We got a thumbs up from James. So 4221 Connecticut Avenue, wine and sake.
Yes.
Are we ready for a motion?
I think we're ready for a motion.
I move that we approve the request for support for a stipulated license pending the executed settlement agreement.
I second the motion. Or, yeah.
David, you're muted.
Thanks. And sometimes I need a 2x4. So we have a motion from Commissioner Nemeth and, I'm sorry, Commissioner
Yeah,
Apples.
I made the motion and Alex seconded.
And so all those in favor, raise their hand, say aye.
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 Unanimous. So thanks. Thanks for the help.
Yes, exciting. Congratulations, ladies, on your business and good luck.
Thank you guys.
Thank you all so much.
We can't wait to sell wine to you, or just we'll give
All
wine
of
away
you.
to you to this group. We can send all the wine whenever we're
Great.
ready.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
So we're on that part of our agenda, which are really information items and announcements. I don't know that, I didn't do this intentionally, but we didn't have commissioner updates. So I guess let's take a few minutes to do that. If there's any updates from any of the commissioners.
One, David. A small item, but important item, reached out to DGS regarding Forest Hills Park, and very specifically regarding the broken fence that's falling apart or falling down in numerous locations. So we've got a file number. It's in their system to be repaired, and I will be following up with them fairly diligently until it's done. Under the thought that, if we take care of the park and make sure that it looks like we care about it and we're taking care of it, hopefully that will, signal to others who are using that park that it is important to us and to treat it as a place that's for the community. So if anyone on the call is seeing any other issues that need to be addressed within the park space, definitely reach out to any of us. we just want to let you know that that first one's going to be taken care of hopefully sooner than later, but we'll have more updates next meeting on their progress.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner Wall.
That's it.
Anybody else? Commissioner Buechner, Commissioner David, Commissioner Mehta, Commissioner Nemeth?
I have a quick update. I just wanted to let everyone know that I did a walking tour of Lenore Lane and met some of our lovely neighbors to take a look at the status of their street, which includes many broken curbs and potholes, and talk to them about the long-term plan for repaving that street, particularly as it relates to the DC water projects that are happening in the area. So if anyone lives in that neighborhood and is looking for more information, please let me know. I'm happy to have conversations with you.
Thanks, Commissioner Beaker. I didn't even know there was a Lenore Lane until you mentioned it. Where's Lenore Lane? Oh, there it is. So,
it's a great part of the neighborhood.
Yeah. If there isn't anybody else, I have a short update on the Hearst Park and Pool construction site that's well underway. There's a lot of mud there right now, but they've got a lot of the foundation in for the field house and pool, and they're starting to lay the foundation for the soccer play field. They claim, Department of Parks, is that they're going to have the fields up by the 1st of April. There was a meeting not too long ago with several neighbors. I don't know if Corey Levine or Eric are on this line, but some of us, and then mainly a lot of neighbors from our neighbor in ANC 3F05. So I've met with Commissioner Siddiqui and some of those neighbors. And so we're all, between the two of us, we're monitoring that construction. So stay tuned. Hopefully it will get up. Oh, there you are. Hi, Corey. So in any case, and appreciate, their, particularly Corey and Erica on our side for keeping an eye on that construction. So thanks.
Yeah.
That's all I have. So I think if there's nothing else, so George, I think I warned you, you don't have to share your screen, but if you've got a 2-3 sentence update from Housing and Neighborhoods, you're on.
Just that we had extensive discussions about affordable housing at our Monday meeting and the comp plan. And we're preparing ourselves to talk about the budget. And lastly, Commissioner Wall is hosting a meeting on the 22nd with the Forest Hills neighbors and property managers in the buildings abutting Forest Hills Park to talk about mitigating crime in the neighborhood. This is a follow-up to the walkabout, and a lot of people here are looking forward to that.
Yeah, and this meeting will be focused again very primarily on the Chesapeake, Brandywine, and Saratoga, and the very specific issues that have been occurring in those buildings, as well as the issues immediately adjacent in the alley behind those buildings and that part of Forest Hills Park. So realizing that there are challenges across the ANC, we wanted this to be a focused conversation with the property managers. One, to understand kind of what kind of things they've done so far, and have it be a constructive conversation on ideas that we think that might be worth exploring to create stronger sense of community within those buildings for various tenants, as well as to create a better environment for the residents in those buildings. So that's our first focus, but hopefully anything that we learn coming out of that conversation, we'll bring back to the broader commission to see if there might be lessons that we can apply, throughout the ANC. But thanks, George, for helping to pull it all together. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Okay, I think I see Bob Dealing somewhere. Streets and Sidewalks. Bob, you want to say a few words about Streets and Sidewalks?
Sure. I'll even show you that I'm here. Yes.
There you are.
So I sent a a report around today. The main focus of our committee in the last month or so has, of course, been the ongoing DDOT study of safety of Connecticut Avenue. And I think that we're going to be talking more about that in a few moments. So that's really our focus right now, is participating in that study. If anyone has comments, please send them to me, or participate on the 24th, and that will foreshadow what's coming next. That's my report.
Thanks, Bob. And I haven't seen Ms. Rosenberg. How about Corey, you want to pinch hit for Erica, kind of top 3 items on the parks and watersheds? You don't have to.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think of what we talked about most recently. But I mean, I know hers is the top of the agenda there just right now because of what's going on. And there's a lot of water issues there. But I think that we've just been getting updates on the soapstone, right? Yeah, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think there was anything like really to report. Just we're keeping tabs on everything.
Okay. Thanks, Corey. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
In here. So I think that's it for the committee report. So I guess the next item on our agenda is really this I guess from Robert's Rules of Order in our bylaws, we're calling this a town hall meeting. I think hopefully most of you on the call know that there's the District Department of Transportation has been wanting to study the reversible lanes for some time. And so that study is kicked off. And so they're at the point of their community outreach and analysis of information to start doing, kind of more focused outreach in advance of a community meeting they're going to have either at the very end of March or early April. And so to prepare for that, they're reaching out to the businesses and different stakeholders and essentially all the ANCs that are up and down the Connecticut Avenue stretch from Chevy Chase Circle all the way down to Woodley Park. And so we have scheduled a meeting for Wednesday, February 24th, which is a week from tomorrow. Same time, same Zoom platform from 7 to 8:30, and we will have, essentially it'll just be a full 90 minutes of everything you wanted to know about the Connecticut Avenue study. And now you get your chance to ask even more. So we're looking forward to that. What we're going to try to do the next day or two, and Bob, if I miss something, let me know. We're going to take a portion of the DDOT slide deck and put it on our website. So for folks to ask questions, they can look at it. Hopefully, we'll make sure there's enough information there to, that covers the full range of the study to start asking questions and send them to us in advance. And we get the questions in advance and we can send them to DDOT. So when they show up a week from tomorrow in the evening, they'll go through their slide deck, which is about, I think it's around 40 to 45 slides, but at least they'll have a sense of what the questions are. They'll get their presentation and then we'll have the remainder of the meeting, approximately 45 minutes, to kind of go back and forth and do Q&A with them. So that's the announcement. Bob, if you could put in the chat, if you could put the website, the DDOT website, because there's, they've got a website up about the Connecticut Avenue study, which again has, for anybody interested in data and numbers and scenarios, you can be up for days and days at a time looking through it. So I think that's all I have, Bob. I miss anything, or if there's any questions?
No, I'll put the project web address in the chat in a minute.
Okay, thanks. So Commissioner Nemeth, I think this is you want to talk about the mayor's budget, anything in particular, or I'll give you the floor.
Well, it's budget season is here, and I think maybe next month we might actually have someone from the mayor's office to tell us about the budget itself. But the mayor will be delivering a budget to DC Council on March 31st. So right now council is doing performance oversight hearings, and the mayor's office is putting together its budget. And so they're doing, I mean, the mayor last few years has been holding what she calls budget engagement forums. This year it's going to be virtual. I guess last year was virtual too because things got delayed. There is we had an unexpected surplus in the last year. So that was nice. So anyone who's interested in the DC budget, now is the time to get engaged before the mayor actually delivers the budget. So really start getting engaged, start pushing, start working on in those areas. Certainly, I'm sure we here at 3F, I'm sure, going to get engaged. I'm sure housing is probably going to have some things, the Housing and Neighborhoods Committee, I'm sure is going to have some things to say about aspects of the budget. I've been working, I'm part of a coalition, the LGBTQ budget coalition. I've been working with a number of different groups on budget requests from this coalition. And so everyone's scrambling now to put in their requests. And so just know the season's here, and that's going to be the big thing. And start getting your requests in now, because you really want to be engaged with the mayor's office before it gets to DC Council. You really want to try to get your requests into the budget early. Then round two, you can start to get DC Council to put stuff in or rearrange things, but you want to get it done before it even gets to DC Council. So be on the lookout for those engagement forums. I think even tonight, there might be one for seniors. I know I've been seeing all sorts of emails and all sorts of stuff. So there's a whole series of them. So just be on the lookout for these community announcements out of the mayor's office.
Yeah, and I think Commissioner Appa put a website. I think that's I can't remember which one you put up, but there's a mayor's budget, and then there's essentially the budget office. But as Commissioner Nemeth said, the mayor releases her budget at the end of March. And then it's essentially April, May. There's a range of committee and public hearings. And then in May is really when they, kind of it all comes together. And then at the city council level, through the committees, committee of whole. And I think they're looking at the 8th is what they're tentatively looking at in terms of the council budget hearing. So I think we're gonna, there's 3 and now 4 committees, schools and parks and transportation and housing. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of money in those areas. And we certainly want to make sure, that Ward 3 and this particular ANC, the geography, gets its fair share of money that come to us. So as Commissioner Nemeth said, it's a good opportunity for us to get involved. And then again, I imagine at some point, like last year, we had resolutions with specific budget requests based on programs. So hopefully we can repeat that again this coming year. Any questions from commissioners at all on this or comments?
No, as you said, I just dropped 2 links in there for the public to see. The second one, I think, actually has the budget schedule in there. So for anyone who is interested and wants to review those, please go ahead and click on the links.
Thanks, Commissioner Appa. I think next we have Commissioner David. You are up with 4740 Connecticut Avenue.
Thank you. And we have Ben Surley on, who will give us a brief update. And the purpose is just to share this with the community because there were huge issues last year. And so I will turn it over to Ben.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks, Claudette.
Thank you.
Well, hi, my name is Benjamin Searle. I'm a resident owner here at the Essex, and I'm excited, and a board member. And we are well underway with our
pretty large project here. It's a HVAC, of course, job with the new chiller and the new cooling tower and the new electrical panel that they've been working on this week. And we're on schedule to, have this project complete by the end of before the cooling season. So, we're really thankful. We've got a building manager that started, a new building manager who started about, I want to say 2 to 3 months ago, and she's been doing a fantastic job. The permit is, I believe there's one remaining element of the permit that has still not been approved. But we are happy to say that things have been going well.
Is there anything, so you're saying, is there anything you need done for that one building permit?
I think it's very close. My understanding is that we're very close to having that approved. So if our president, the president of the board has been assigned to that permit, Sabine O'Hare, who spoke a couple meetings ago. If she does need anything, I'm sure we would not hesitate to ask. But I think she feels pretty confident that we're awfully close.
And I think the next question, if there's anything from the community. Chairman David, Commissioner David.
I mean, I don't have any questions. Thanks for the update. Hopefully the chillers will chill in the summer and they'll be quiet.
On the roof.
Right. Oh, I guess I didn't mention that. I mean, it's a huge investment that we've made. And yeah, it's much smaller chiller than what we had before. And it's hyper efficient. We kind of paid for the absolute best you could get as far as I understand. So we're really excited, obviously, to have our own energy costs go down, of course. I mean, it's a big investment. We're hoping that it pays for it in the long run.
Okay, thanks for the update. I think that's we're getting toward the end of our agenda. So thank you for staying with us. We're now ready for the community forum, which is typically the part of the meeting where if you have a question that hasn't been addressed already, or if you asked it and it didn't get answered, I guess you can try again. Or if you've got another question, this is the time for you to ask us questions. And I see Gloria Garcia, you've got your hand raised.
Yes, thank you, David. This is also when Venice Main Street and sometimes UDC reports. So just wanted to get really quick update. As you guys know, that we have had better luck, even though some of our businesses are still hanging on by a very thin margin. We have now have a 5th new business that is opening on the corner of Connecticut and Albemarle. It is Shamali's Market. Many of you may know it from Foxhall Square. And way back in the day when it was in the giant parking lot where GC Murphy was, which is now the Cathedral Commons, it used to only have a back entrance. That's for us old timers that grew up here, but it was one of the greatest places to go pick up some hummus before it was really mass produced. So we're excited to have a 5th new business on the corridor. And following up on what's already been mentioned this morning, the businesses tuned in to the same DDOT presentation, just to have a small, the business perspective. And it was from the main streets from Woodley Park all the way to the new main street in Chevy Chase. So, we are still trying to get the businesses to focus on this presentation, and hopefully more will tune in on February 24th. So I thank the ANC for holding that another meeting. So it'll give them another opportunity to tune in. And the other thing on committees, we also have 4 committees, 3 of which are open to the public, and we're still looking for volunteers. We're looking for volunteers for our design committee. We're looking for volunteers for our events and promotions that obviously look very different now with COVID. And we're looking for economic development, which I think is going to be one of our key committees. moving forward on what are we going to look like in the next 3 to 5 years, because we're never going to look like we did before. And shopping patterns and eating patterns will be different. So we're still looking for volunteers. So if anyone's interested, just please email me at gloria@vansmainstreet.org. And then just to look forward, many of you participated in Spring Forward. Come mid-March, you will see Spring Now. So look for some activities that are going to start launching our spring community and fundraising. So it's going to include hopefully a corridor cleanup. It's going to include more plantings, and hopefully it'll include some fundraising activities. So, so that's all I have. If anybody has any questions, but thank you for all the support. Please keep those businesses. Oh, and soon to be announced, Juanita's not on, but the UDC board on the 23rd will be approving one of the first leases for 4340, and it is a urgent care facility.
Oh, wow.
So, and the following month there will be another tenant. So we're moving on the retail, the empty retail of UDC.
Thanks, Gloria.
Thanks.
Next, we have Michael, and I think it's Porcello.
Yes, thanks, David. Mike Porcello.
Porcello.
So I'm Councilmember Che's legislative director, and I just wanted to a moment to echo what Monica had said about the budget, and just to share another detail. When the budget comes out on March 31st, we're also going to see what's called a supplemental budget, which is the budget the mayor sends across is for next fiscal year, which starts at October 1st of every year, but also a budget that basically rethinks funding and spending for the current year. So I encourage folks when they are at mayor's forums or reaching out to offices to think in that context as well. It's going to be an interesting budget or supplemental. Well, it's going to be an interesting budget, but also an interesting supplemental budget to see if and how the mayor bakes in, any federal relief that it looks like we're going to get being made whole by Congress with the extra $750 million. We just found out it's good to have a surplus, but not great that we had a surplus and didn't put that money to direct use, helping residents and businesses. So I imagine there'll be a lot of that baked into her supplemental budget, and also just generally her plans as that budget comes out. So I encourage folks where they have thoughts on the budget for fiscal year 2022 coming up, but also on how to use the federal relief money, what we should be doing for the remainder of the year, and things to prioritize to make your voices heard. I know the council is looking for that, really looking at how we can provide relief through the remainder of this fiscal year to folks and make sure it's getting to folks in need. Just hearing Van Ness Main Street speak, we've been talking in office about actually the important role Main Streets could play in helping lift up businesses as we come forward and really increasing investments there so that we can help our local businesses get lifted up. So that's just thoughts on that line. I also just wanted to share in case folks were interested. I know this is a bit further south from 3F, but last week we actually had a first meeting of the working group on the 2 new schools in Ward 3. It's called the Foxhall School right now. These will not be the actual names. And the MacArthur Road or the GDS campus. The contract for that actually just came to the council for purchase of that property. One will likely be an elementary school, one a middle school. And while not directly in the feeder for 3F, or the feeders won't hit 3F, they likely will help with over enrollment at Eaton and the other schools that are in the feeder pattern here. So exciting news. Those are underway and really chugging along. And it's a question now of what those schools will look like rather than if. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mike, for joining us. It's good to know that you are the Councilwoman Che's budget person. We'll remember you. We all will. I know Monica does, but we've got your number. So thanks for joining us. Any other questions from the group? Matt, you've got a question. Commissioner Buechner.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to let everyone know that Juanita let me know that she had to drop off the call and will be providing us an update via email. So I'll send that around to the group. as soon as I receive it from her.
Thanks. Anybody else? Oh, I see one. I see somebody in the chat. Hang on. Oh, okay, thanks. So I think that's it. If there's no other business, any other new business, any business from any of the commissioners? Wow, well, thanks for joining us tonight. Again, hopefully you can join us on the 24th to hear all about Connecticut Avenue, the reversible lane study. It is interesting. And then I think our next regular meeting is going to be the same. It's the 16th also. It's the third Tuesday. So do tune in. Tell your friends and neighbors about us. And we'll look forward to seeing you next month. Stay safe. The days are getting longer. And
we need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did. Right. Thanks.
Second to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Commissioner Nemeth. All right.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Great night, everyone. Bye-bye.